Waddle then gobbled for the gaggle and then made way for the President of the United States.
The turkeys being pardoned today go by the names of Gobble and Waddle. When I first saw their pictures, I thought we should send them, well, I shouldn't say this. I was gonna call them Chuck and Nancy. But then I realized I wouldn't be pardoning them. I would never pardon those two people. I wouldn't pardon them. I wouldn't care what Melania told me. Darling, I think it would be a nice thing to do. I won't do it, darling.
I like when he takes us inside his relationship. Darling, why do you throw up when I open my robe? What are you doing, darling?
Kim Jong-un has state stenographers who follow him everywhere and scribble his genius ideas into their notebooks and applaud. Well, Republicans, that's you now. Republican Congressman Addison McDowell wants to name Dulles Airport after Trump. It'll be like other airports, except the international terminal only has departures.
No one expected to witness history today. But here we are. Jimmy Kimmel and Bill Maher combined their sarcasm superpowers and unleashed a monsoon of jokes on Trump that could power Las Vegas. I swear even the cameraman started laughing. It was brutal. It was ridiculous. And it was absolutely beautiful. There's one moment in particular that the internet cannot stop replaying. And you're about to see why. Prepare yourself. We're diving in now.
It's not like Trump doesn't care about people. I mean, he has a lot of empathy. He's feeling especially bad right now for the family of the newly decrowned Jeffrey Epstein pal, the now former...
Jimmy Kimmel storms into madness like a lightning bolt crashing through a carnival tent made of inflated confidence and half-finished decisions. The air shakes with the kind of dramatic tension usually reserved for disaster. Movie trailers. Trump stands in the middle of his own self-made storm, gripping bravado like an umbrella filled with holes.
And the governor is a big fat slob.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I mean, seriously, though, he says a lot of crazy stuff. In that same press conference, he said there have been no murders in Washington, D.C. in the last 6 months because of him. There have been 62 murders in Washington, which already indicates a vivid imagination. But does he really look at himself in the mirror and go, I am thin? I am so thin, I can comment.
Bill Maher jumps in with the swagger of someone who just discovered a treasure chest overflowing with every presidential misstep imaginable. Trump tries to hold a grand pose, but the scene around him crumbles like a cookie that forgot it was supposed to stay solid. Bill's delivery transforms the moment into a wild cinematic sequence where the hero insists everything is under control while the background burns.
There's also a bill in Congress to add Trump to Mount Rushmore because, like Washington, he's a patriot. Like Teddy Roosevelt, he's a renegade. And like Abraham Lincoln, he's not really helping the theater scene in Washington. Yeah, the Kennedy Center is not something I really care a lot about, but I do care that an American president doesn't see anything wrong with him personally taking it over, or that his communications director, Stephen Chung, said it was justified because Trump, quote,
Jimmy returns with the force of a spotlight that refuses to blink, exposing every crack Trump tries to smooth over. The current president's expressions shift like theatrical masks being swapped too quickly, each one revealing more confusion than the last. Jimmy magnifies the absurdity until it sparkles with comedic excess, turning the atmosphere into a place where every gesture looks like a stage scene gone off script.
And then the president pardoned the birds as only he can.
Looks like a rather violent bird. Hard to play. Anyway, are you ready? Beautiful. Nice. You are hereby unconditionally pardoned.
There you go. All right. In 6 months, when they're indicted for crypto fraud, he'll say...
Bill steps forward as if guiding the audience through a gallery of presidential blunders painted with bold strokes of chaos. Trump tries to maintain a regal aura, but the moment betrays him with a tremble that grows louder than his. Intentions. Bill turns this into entertainment so rich it feels like a dramatic opera performed entirely in slow-motion miscalculations. The tension transforms into pure comedic electricity.
Republicans dance like Trump now. They name weapons systems after him. They've even dressed like him with the trademark suit and tie. Available exclusively at Banana Republic. Yeah, all these super macho guys eating the ass of another man. Some even talk like him now, with the crazy
Jimmy shifts the spotlight onto Trump's latest attempt at mastery, a display that teeters like a poorly assembled statue wobbling under the weight of its own ambition. The dramatic irony is thick enough to cup in both hands. Jimmy enhances every second with humor, so sharp it slices through pretension like a hot knife through decorative icing. Trump's grandstanding melts on the glow of relentless mockery. Bill returns with flourish, focusing on the way Trump carries himself as though he's directing a movie no one else agreed to film. Each movement feels choreographed by someone who forgot to read the script. Bill spins the awkwardness into gold, painting Trump as the central figure in a spectacle fueled by misplaced conviction and dramatic overreach. The comedic rhythm builds into a rumble. Jimmy steps forward, weaving imagery of Trump's stage presence as something resembling a theatrical reenactment performed in slow, exaggerated gestures. Every motion screams for applause that never arrives. Jimmy revels in theatrical collapse, turning the moment into a symphony of comedic misfires that echo louder with each breath. The scenes blend into a delicious storm of irony.
Art.
So, Governor Pritzker, if you're listening, let's get your act together. Invite us in. I had a little bit of a Pritzker joke. I was going to talk about Pritzker and size, but when I talk about Pritzker, I get angry because he's not letting us do the job. So I'm not going to tell my Pritzker joke. They have a very cute little joke, you know. Some speechwriter wrote some joke about his weight, but I would never want to talk about his weight. I don't talk about people being fat. I refuse to talk about the fact that he's a fat slob. I don't mention it.
I don't know if that's sarcasm or short-term memory loss. Either way, he really captures.
Bill keeps the flame roaring, crafting a description of Trump navigating his own chaos with the determination of someone marching through a fog machine with no idea where the exit is. The effort is bold, dramatic, and somehow perfectly mistaken. Bill amplifies the chaos into a spectacle worthy of its own theme music. The airfield's charged with comedic electricity. Jimmy moves in with the precision of a director pointing out the absurdity of every beat Trump tries to hit. The performance grows more elaborate, more dramatic, more filled with cracks that widen with every step. Jimmy turns each detail into a comedic fireworks display, bursting in every direction without a coherent pattern. The spectacle becomes irresistibly entertaining. Bill returns with the energy of someone unraveling a dramatic plot twist that was supposed to be serious, but ends up being unintentionally hilarious. Trump's attempt at gravitas wobble like a chandelier hanging from a thread. Bill enhances attention, letting the dramatic irony drizzle through the moment like syrup on a melting dessert. The entire scene transforms into a buffet of comedy.
Waddle then gobbled for the gaggle and then made way for the President of the United States.
The turkeys being pardoned today go by the names of Gobble and Waddle. When I first saw their pictures, I thought we should send them, I shouldn't say this. I was gonna call them Chuck and Nancy. But then I realized I wouldn't be pardoning them. I would never pardon those two people. I wouldn't pardon them. I wouldn't care what.
Jimmy paints Trump's latest endeavor like a high-stakes performance staged in a hall of mirrors. Every reflection looks slightly off, slightly distorted, slightly more dramatic than intended. Jimmy stretches the humor until it wraps around the moment like a ribbon tied too tightly. Trump's determination only fuels the comedy. Bill pushes the narrative further by portraying Trump's dramatic choices as pieces in a puzzle that never quite fit, no matter how confidently they're shoved. Jimmy dives in again, highlighting Trump's flair for theatrics that spill over like a cup, filled far beyond its brim. The drama drips into every corner of the scene, staining it with comedic exaggeration. Jimmy sharpens the edges, transforming the spectacle into a carnival ride of chaotic ambitions and unsteady execution. Bill sweeps in with a fresh burst of humor, capturing Trump's attempt at grandeur as though they were scenes from an overacted period drama, missing its lead costume. The mismatch between intent and reality becomes the center of the roast. Bill expands the scene until it swells with comedic resonance.
Prince and Andrew in the UK has had his royal titles stripped away because of the Epstein scandal. I know you're close to the royal family there. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I feel very badly. I mean, it's a terrible thing that's happened to the family. That's been a tragic situation. And it's too bad. I mean, I feel badly for the family.
That family he feels bad for. The ones losing their food stamps, they're going to be fine. Don't worry about it. This is like Bill Cosby feeling bad for art.
Bill takes a torch, firing up the scene by describing Trump's dramatic gestures as though they were plucked from a script written during a caffeine-fueled frenzy. The pacing speeds up, then slows without warning, turning the moment into a roller coaster made of unpredictable emotional swings. Bill sharpens each twist with humor. Jimmy keeps the energy soaring by dissecting Trump's expressions, which shift with the unstable rhythm of someone trying to keep a straight face while juggling flaming torches. The comedy becomes palpable, dripping from every exaggerated detail. Jimmy shapes the chaos into something irresistible. Bill steps back in, elevating Trump's attempt at authority into the kind of dramatic overplay that belongs on a stage covered in velvet curtains and glittering chandeliers. The contrast between the dramatic pose and the collapsing foundation underneath becomes comedic gold. Bill presses it further. Jimmy amplifies the roast by highlighting Trump's knack for turning even a calm moment into a dramatic swirl of unpredictable actions. The scene grows like a balloon being inflated past its limit. Jimmy lets it expand until it's on the verge of popping from comedic pressure.
The reason Gretchen Whitmer looked like a toddler playing peekaboo in the Oval Office is she's afraid of the Liz Bratts of the world and the 12 social justice warriors on the internet and what they might tweet to their 7 followers. Alyssa Slotkin calls her party weak and woke. She's right. People vote on instinct. They can smell fear a swing state away, and they'd rather have strong and wrong. Having sex with Stormy Daniels was wrong, but Trump didn't hide.
Jimmy turns the spotlight onto the swirling confusion around Trump, which behaves like a cloud of glitter thrown into a windstorm. It sparkles, it scatters, it refuses to settle. Jimmy makes the chaos dance, twisting it into a comedic cyclone. Bill returns with a take that transforms Trump's decision-making into a dramatic journey down a hallway filled with funhouse lights and mismatched cues. Each step echoes with exaggerated tension. Bill squeezes the moment until it bursts into comedy. Jimmy charges in, describing Trump's shifting confidence as though it were stage prop repeatedly tipping, over despite best efforts. The comedic potential grows with each wobble. Jimmy stretches the imagery into a brilliant, exaggerated critique. Bill magnifies the energy, comparing Trump's theatrics to an orchestra that insists on playing louder whenever it loses its rhythm. The result is a dramatic symphony of misplaced confidence and runaway gestures. Bill packs the moment with more comedic intensity. Jimmy keeps pushing, illustrating Trump's movements as a swirling collection of dramatic flourishes that look borrowed from every genre at once. The inconsistency becomes its own comedy, and Jimmy pulls it into full focus.
Prince Andrew lost his royal status. He's been demoted to, I think he's the Archduke of Frimplepants now or something. Trump's claimed that he doesn't know Prince Andrew, and yet there are dozens of photos of them together. Here's just one of the many. I don't know if, what happened to Andrew in that photograph, but here's one of then Prince Andrew walking away from Trump. And look who else is in the picture, peeking in from the corner. You got convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell, who Trump wishes well and just had moved to a much more comfortable prison. And then lurking in the background, none other than Trump's BF Jeff.
Bill elevates the scene further by turning Trump's missteps into a dramatic sequence of overlapping moments, each competing for attention. The spectacle swells like a storm cloud preparing to burst. Bill punctuates the air with humor. Jimmy circles back to the image of Trump trying to control a landscape built entirely on shifting sand. The wobble intensifies, the posture tightens, and the comedy surfaces with ease. Jimmy molds the chaos into something almost operatic. Bill jumps in with flourish, transforming Trump's chaos into an unfolding drama that spirals with the energy of forgotten play being performed for the first time. The comedic tension grows, stretching into new layers with every beat. Jimmy heightens the imagery by describing Trump's reactions like a spotlight flickering unpredictably during a high-budget performance. Each blink reveals another piece of exaggerated drama. Jimmy shapes it into a storm of humor. Bill delivers a final wave of sharp commentary, crafting Trump's week as a dramatic production overflowing with emotional whiplash, over-the-top displays, and spiraling theatrics. The spectacle refuses to calm, leaving the air buzzing with comedic potential.
Quite the opposite. It looks like he said to the photographer, widen that out so you can get these tits. He's got his mugshot hanging outside the Oval Office. He's literally got a guy working for him named Big Balls. It's like if Gavin Newsom had a henchman named Perfect Hair.
Jimmy tightens the end by spotlighting the whirlwind Trump has cultivated a swirling vortex of decisions, theatrics, and spirals that create their own gravitational pull. Jimmy molds the mess into a comedic monument. Bill lets the script conclude in a grand, lingering swirl of dramatic energy, framing Trump's latest chapter as the beginning of yet another spectacle waiting for its next spark. The air hangs thick with anticipation, ready for whatever chaotic display comes next. Jimmy surges back into the chaos with the momentum of a spotlight crashing onto a stage that never expected illumination. Trump tries to hold himself together with the stiff determination of a cardboard cutout standing in a hurricane. The tension thickens until hums like a power line about to snap. Jimmy shapes the scene into a visual burst of comedic drama, letting every unsteady move echo louder than the last. Bill steps in with the smooth confidence of someone strolling onto a set where every prop is already leaning at suspicious angles. Trump's attempt at poise flickers like a street lamp struggling against a storm. Bill twists the moment into a cinematic tableau overflowing with irony, letting the surrounding spectacle bend and fold into an exaggerated panorama. The mood swells with theatrical brilliance.
According to the Washington Post, since Trump installed himself as chairman of the board back in February, ticket sales at the Kennedy Center have taken a nosedive. So far, the Kennedy Center has only sold 57% of their tickets, which is down from 93% at this time last year. Everything he touches dies. Good news, Malone. The lack of ticket sales hasn't discouraged the tantrum of the opera one bit. He took a break from posting photos of the new Lincoln toilet to brag about his new Trumpified Kennedy Center. He wrote, "It is really looking good. The exterior columns, which were in serious danger of corrosion if something weren't done, are completed and look magnificent."
Jimmy rides a growing wave of energy, painting Trump's stance as something wedged between attempted grandeur and accidental slapstick. Each gesture lands with the grace of a door slamming in an empty hallway. Jimmy stretches the drama into a slow motion, unraveling that glimmers with comedic perfection. Every second breathes with wild, unpredictable rhythm. Bill returns, sculpting the chaos into a vivid storyline where Trump appears caught between two performances he never rehearsed for. One dramatic and one unintentionally hilarious. The imbalance swirls around him like a curtain whipping in the wind. Bill turns the scene into a masterpiece of exaggerated tension that hums with comedic electricity. Jimmy sharpens the atmosphere with a fresh burst of intensity, framing Trump's presence as a towering monument carved from unstable ambition and half-formed plans. Cracks spread across the imaginary sculpture as the weight of his theatrics pressed down from every angle. Jimmy draws out each flaw until it becomes irresistibly vibrant. Bill lets the script glide toward its next dramatic rise, lifting the moment into a grand finale of spiraling gestures, faltering bravado, and sparkling irony. Trump's world quakes with every misplaced attempt at authority, and the atmosphere thickens with comedic momentum. Bill pushes the scene to a peak so rich in humor, it feels like a cliffhanger waiting for the next shockwave.